Hello everyone and welcome to the Confessions of a Teenage Witch podcast. My name is Ella and I am your host, and today we are going to be talking about music and magic. So different ways that you can use music to manifest things, and also how important it is within my personal magical practice, and different ways that you can incorporate music, magic and using music into your practice. So I have lots of different interpretations of this in this video. I just want to move the mic back a little bit because last week the audio quality was not very good and it didn't sound great. So if I just move it forward a bit, then it won't be as booming, because when I talk louder then it starts to go so it doesn't sound great. So that should be better. So yes, today I'm kitted out in my Maisie Peters tour t-shirt. As you guys know, she is my favourite artist, as shown by the massive vinyl that I've been hoarding for the last year. So yes, she is one of my favourite artists. I think I might talk about her a little bit today because of the way that she wrote her this album, which is actually called The Good Witch. So, oh yeah, this is it here. So yeah, I might actually talk about that because that's quite significant with what we're talking about. But I'm just going to be going through the notes that I made first about music and manifestation. So this has been on my mind since I started writing music. So I started writing music, I think it was at the end of year 10. So what was that, like 3 years ago? Yeah, 3 years ago. At the end of the summer I started writing music. And I haven't written a lot of music since then because I'm such a perfectionist when it comes to stuff like that. I am fine with like composing melodies, but writing words to stuff I find really difficult, because I am so used to listening to songs that have been written by so many different people, have been polished, are written by people who have years and years of songwriting experience. So when my songwriting doesn't sound right, then it makes me feel sad and bad and everything. And also because I've never experienced like being in a relationship or heartbreak, I find it harder to write music. So I know that you can write music without talking about heartbreak and relationships, but it just seems difficult to do it. I don't know, because those sorts of things, you feel it so deeply that it's really good for writing music. But yeah, I just feel like I can't find enough things to want to write songs about that don't sound really pathetic. So that is one way of using like music magic. So music magic, that sounds dreadful. So you can write songs like they are spells, and that is what Maisie Peters kind of did. I mean, she isn't a witch herself, she's just like a singer, songwriter person. And she said that all of these songs that she wrote, these songs are like spells, and a lot of them are like breakup songs or like self-empowerment songs. And yeah, pretty much all of these, except from The Band and I, which is about her and her band and them going on a tour, they're all about relationships. History of Man is really, really good if you like mythology. It's about like mythology and women and stuff. So yes, all of these songs, she wrote them so strong in the way that she worded them. She tried to make them like spells. So that is one thing you could do, is writing songs and making them like spells. And one way you could do this, and this is something I've been thinking about a lot, especially with because this episode links with the last episode, which was about, oh gosh, is there something else in there? Yeah, it's all my little stars. My little stars from the tour. How cute. Yeah, so an amazing thing that you can do with this is write a song for the desired reality that you have. So if you have like certain aspirations or something that you want to do with your life, then write the song like you already have that. And what I think that makes this so powerful, and it's something that I want to start doing, is it is like a stronger version of like writing those diary entries of saying like, this is my reality. Like it's when you're like, you write a journal entry like you are from your desired reality. So you write like, I live in this house, I have this much in my bank account, or whatever, depending on how consumeristic you are. I have this much stuff. More like, well, for me personally, it'd be like, I take long walks in nature, I eat meals that make me feel good, just like how I'd write it. But instead of writing it like that, instead write it into a song that you really, really like and that you can listen to often. And then every time that you sing the song, then you give that spell more power. So you can make the song a spell. So I haven't heard many people talk about this, but it must be a thing that you can do. And I'm sure there's lots of people out there that already do this, because I have always thought, when I like started looking into manifestation, and law of attraction, I always thought that with some of these songs about heartbreak and stuff, if you are always writing about heartbreak, well, not always, these singers, they don't always talk about heartbreak, but talking about heartbreak often, and if you're touring these songs and you're singing about heartbreak a lot, you're giving out this frequency into the universe about heartbreak. So in the film The Secret, which I was talking about last week, there is this example of this man, and he is always painting portraits of just like a lonely man or something. And then he gets advice because he can't, oh no, it's something to do with women. And like the first ones, he's painting himself with loads of women, and he's finding in his relationships that he is not building a strong, stable relationship with someone. He's just having like women come and go. So this person says to him that he should start to paint himself with just one woman, and kind of like envisage what his life would look like if he had like the perfect partner. So he would paint this, and he would put these paintings up around his flat or whatever, and he found that after he did that, then he found like the perfect relationship, and he then had this stable relationship. So I was thinking before that if you write songs about how you want to live your life and like say it like you already have it, like this is my life, and you give it power, then you can manifest it. Like it's a great way to manifest, because there's so much power you put into music, especially when you're singing. You're really like vulnerable, and you're really like giving your power to the words, and that's why it feels so incredible when you're at a concert and you're with all of these other people chanting these words and like singing these words. And that's why this concert was so incredible, because there's all of us in the crowd like shouting these words, because the way that Maisie writes, she has these crazy lyrics. And what was it? The line, "Baby, I am the Iliad, of course you didn't read me." Like, because there's such crazy lines, like almost every line is crazy, but some of them like that, because they're so like, oh my god, all of us like shouted the craziest lines, and it was just incredible. So all of that power, we all built that together. And that's another thing with music magic. You could like at a concert, like build up all of this energy and use it in your manifestation. Like with this concert, we had the song There It Goes, and oh my god, this song, hearing it live was just incredible. So I think in this podcast episode I should have actually like played the songs and like sang them for you guys, but we'll do that another time. But yeah, the song There It Goes is so beautiful, and it's about like she's like singing about her current life, and then she is, oh my god, the bridge is, I just want to read you the bridge because the bridge is just beautiful, and then I'll talk about how incredible this song was at the concert, and like the meaning that she gave to it in the concert, and why it felt so powerful and witchy to sing it. So, where is it on this? I just want to read it properly. I know all the words. I just want to make sure I don't muck it up. Where is it? Oh, yeah. So this is the bridge. A new home, a swan dive, a blank page, a rewrite, a black cat in the streetlights, an open door. The come down of closure, the girls and I do yoga. I wake up and it's October. The loss is yours. Brick Lane in the brisk cold and red wine on his hip bone. The witching hours of Stockholm that you won't see. Sunflowers in the kitchen. A heartbreak in remission. The universe is shifting and it's all for me. Why am I tearing up? I think it's because I was concentrating so hard. That's why my eyes are filling with water. So that bridge. That song has just been so incredible to have because this album came out almost exactly a year ago now. And to have that song, like, throughout the stress I've had with my A-levels, saying like the universe is shifting and it's all for me, like me listening to that song almost every single day and singing that, it was like I was manifesting it through that, just being like everything is gonna work out. And it's the same with Maisie's opening act for that concert, which was Greta Ray, and I am obsessed with Greta Ray. In one of my videos I did talk about Positive Spin. I can't remember which one it was, but it was The Beauty of Impermanence, which was my first video back after my month-long hiatus when I was doing my A-levels. I was talking about this album and how incredible it is. And there's this song called You've Already Won, and it is a song about gratitude and being grateful for what you have already. And even though like you might be in a difficult time of life, like there's still so many amazing things happening around you. You just have to look for it. And the chorus of this, like all of us singing it together, because once she'd sung it a couple of times, everybody knew the words, and there was like this moment where she got us all to like get down really, really low, and then she was singing it, and then when she finished like that bit of the song, like we all jumped up, and just seeing like the video that they took of us all jumping up, because I was in the stalls. Like if you want to watch this concert, it's on my Patreon. You can watch it on the lowest tier as well. If you just scroll down through my content to around November time, you can go and watch this concert because it's just amazing. And yeah, just building up all that energy in the room. There's just something so magical about it, and you really can harness some of that energy. So that is that. What was I going to talk about after that? I can't actually remember, because I did say, oh yeah, we're talking about this first, and then we're going to talk about something else after it. But yeah, anyway, so let's carry on. That's enough about Maisie Peters today, very sadly. She is currently recording her third album, which is absolutely mental. I'm actually going to die when it comes out. It is just amazing. But what I love about her, I'm just going to say this final thing about Maisie Peters. What I love about her as an artist is that I probably wouldn't like her as much as I do, because it's just the time in my life that I am, because like I'm a teenager, I'm a young woman, and she sings songs for young women. Like if I was older, or if I was a different gender, or like a different kind of person, I wouldn't like her music. And I think that's why I love it even more, because I feel like the music is made for me. So it's made for like us young women, to empower us, and I just think that is incredible. Like compared with other artists, I just really connect to her music, and she's such an amazing performer, and I really feel connected to her as a fan, because she's so good with social media and the way that she talks about stuff. Anyway, I need to stop talking about Maisie Peters. This is not a podcast about Maisie Peters. I definitely won't be doing one in the future because no one will watch it. Okay, anyway, so similarly with choirs, I was in the choir from around the age of 6 to the age of 11, and what I really loved about being in the choir is it's similar with this whole concert thing, like being all together, and like the way that music just fills you with so much energy and so much happiness. like having that with loads of other people and sharing that moment with them. There's just something so magical about that as well. So I really love music magic in that way. And also, like, what was the song that it was called, the song Sing, but there's so many artists with the song called Sing. Is it like Robbie Williams or something? Oh no, it's Gary Barlow. I'm not going to play it for much because or else I've got copyright. Is that here? Oh yeah, this one. Okay, we're going to get copyright blocked. But that song, when we were singing it for like the Queen's birthday, everybody singing it together, there just felt something so powerful about it. So, another thing. This is so hard to structure this episode because it's just like random thoughts. The next way that you can use music for your magical practice and how magical music is to do with the connection you feel to others when you both relate to a song, or there's like a big collective of people relating to a song. There's something so amazing like that. And this kind of unison of everybody relating to it, it kind of helps you to heal because you feel less alone. And music is so healing in the way that it brings everyone together, and it shares such important messages. And like, is it this song where they say like some words can't be spoken, they can only be sung? Yeah, some words they can't be spoken, only sung. So yeah, there are some things that it's hard to put into words to say to someone, and it's better just to sing. That's why you see in all the cringy love films, you have like someone writing a song for the love of their life. So yeah, it is a great way to say something. The next part of music magic is binaural beats, and I don't know a lot about this. I just remember watching I always talk about Ivy the Occultist videos because she's just incredible. I was watching the Ivy the Occultist video about binaural beats because she was talking to a witch who used this in their magical practice, and this was when I was coming back from the Lake District on the bus, and just have vivid memories of watching it. But it was very, very interesting because it's like a completely different side of magic that I'd never heard about, and a different side of using music for magic. And I think it's to do with entering different brainwave states, which I know barely anything about. I only knew that was a thing since I started watching her videos because of how limited my books are about witchcraft. They don't talk about stuff like that. So yeah, it was very interesting to hear how these different vibrations, and I knew about different frequencies being very spiritual and good for meditation and entering into different kind of brain states, but not that terminology. I knew about like astral projection. I tried to try astral projection once, but it didn't work because my brain was not spiritually tuned enough. Yeah, I think I had too much noise going on, so I couldn't really do it. I don't know if I'll be trying it again. Maybe one day. Yeah, I'm not really that bothered about astral projection. Not sure. Anyway, so yes, you can use these different frequencies, these different like rhythms and whatever to change your brain in some way. I completely don't really know anything about this, so it's really hard to talk about, but that is a really interesting thing to research if that sounds interesting to you. I also really love it that different frequencies can help you to open different chakras. I think that's really, really cool. I haven't done a lot of chakra work. I started learning about it, but I thought that when I'd finished my exams I'd be really spiritual and like meditated all day, but because of the building work going on, which is really, really loud, every time I try and sit down to meditate, it's really, really hard not to get frustrated and to be able to concentrate when they're banging stuff and drilling stuff. And oh my gosh, the way they drill stuff, and it's just such an awful sounding note, like it's such, and it's like it doesn't sound good. Like, why can't they drill and like it sound nice? I don't know. Anyway, next thing is similar to what we were talking about in the beginning. This is about like manifestation and like, what do they call it? But affirmations? Yeah. So there's this song, and I saw this on social media a couple of years ago. There's this song by Snoop Dogg, and it's got loads of like, is it called affirmations? What do you even call it? And you basically, in this song, he's like singing stuff like "My feelings matter," and there was like this preschool that this woman was putting the song on to get the kids to sing, and it's supposed to build up your confidence and make you really happy and ready for the day, and you like sing it in the mirror and stuff. What is it? Snoop Dogg. Yeah, affirmation song. So this song is hilarious to listen to out of context, and like the general public would find it really cringy, and I personally found it extremely cringy when I found it, but there's actually quite a lot of good in this song. I think it could actually be used positively and not be cringy, but it is really hard to get past the cringiness because this is the canvas for it. Like, I don't really know what's happening. Anyway, so this is the lyrics. So it says, affirmations are positive statements that help us challenge and overcome when you're not feeling good and have negative thoughts. So repeat after me. Come on, everyone. So then this is when it starts saying the affirmations. And these are really, really good affirmations. I actually think it's great that there are some teachers who are getting the kids to say this every day, because some of the stuff that they get us to sing in school, I think it should be replaced with some stuff like this, because a lot of kids struggle with mental health, and I think that by repeating these phrases it can help to shift their mindsets. That's why all of these political parties, I don't want to talk about politics too much, but the political parties who are thinking about putting a mental health person into like primary schools and secondary schools, I think is great, and they definitely should do that. And luckily with my school we did have a mental health teacher who was there and could help anyone in like both of my parts of school, both secondary school and sixth form, and it was so important to have that, as well as the support from my head of year. So yes, please get mental health people into schools. Anyway, so these are the affirmations. It's stuff like, there is no one better to beat than myself. Today is going to be an amazing day. My feelings matter. I get better every single day. I choose to feel happy. My family loves me so much. That one's a little bit difficult. That could be a little bit triggering for some people. I care about others. I learn from my mistakes. Affirmations are fun and cool. Yeah, this song was definitely made for kids. Yeah, that's definitely a kid's song. But that is very positive message from Snoop Dogg. So definitely great to have a song with affirmations. I did think about writing like a whole album with like affirmations and like all the stuff I was talking about earlier once, but I didn't want it to sound cringy, so I haven't started work on that project, but maybe one day I will. So yeah, healing, as I said before, it's another thing I wrote down. And also to see other perspectives. Like, I think it could be used like tarot, because I find tarot is just great to see an issue from like a different perspective, a different way of looking at it. So like by using different metaphors in songs and just seeing other people dealing with similar issues and them like working through these issues in different ways, it can be very inspiring and helpful in that way. So yeah, and then my final note that I wrote down, and there's so much more I could say about music magic, so I might do another podcast episode on it. It's difficult to get it all into one podcast episode with all of the right thoughts sounding right, because I always do these episodes in one take. This is something I've wrote, very inspiring from me. What's the time? I think it's like 12:30 or something. I wrote this about 11 o'clock this morning, hour after I woke up. because I had prom. I'll talk about prom in a minute, because that's just hilarious. Creativity is a window to spirituality. This is something that I find deeply important, and like when I feel like I'm not a valid witch, which is most days, I feel like I'm not a proper witch, and it makes me feel even worse, like being someone who makes videos about witchcraft. But I just have to remind myself that I'm on my own path. I shouldn't compare myself to others, and it doesn't really matter what my practice looks like, because I should just do it and it make me happy, and then it doesn't really matter. And just try and manifest stuff, I guess, but also just connect with nature and just be happy with what I do. That's pretty much it. And learning about different parts of it is really interesting, but I don't have to know it all now. Anyway, so yes, I find creativity is one of my most important parts of my practice, because as it says on my channel, like this channel is my book of shadows. Like I don't really have a book of shadows, don't write stuff down. So if I research something and I find it really, really interesting, I feel like I become like not an expert, but I have like a good understanding where I could share it with others and not have a video full of misinformation. I love to have this as my book of shadows. It's the way that I express my spirituality and my witchcraft and everything. So yeah, with music, it's another way to be creative, and that's really great with spirituality, and like it helps you understand yourself better listening to music, and your music taste is so personal. It really tells you a lot about yourself, so I really love that. So that's everything I have to say about manifesting with music today. There's obviously other ways to use music in your magical practice, such as going out for walks in nature and listening to music. I used to do this a lot, like every single nature walk that I would do, like my witchy nature walks, I would always listen to Aurora. It was like a little ritual that I had, and I really loved to do that. But since I've been getting back into witchcraft properly lately, I've been trying not to listen to music whilst out in nature. And it's not like I've been trying not to, like I actually haven't wanted to. I've wanted to just like experience the world around me, because once I block off that sense and I'm listening to music, I feel like I can't see properly. It's really strange, but once I block off that, then my vision doesn't feel right. Like I feel like I have to have all of my 5 senses to feel present, and feeling present fully in nature with every different sense that I have. Because there's like been research that there's more than 5 senses, which is so cool. I want to feel completely present to really feel grounded and enjoy that time. So I haven't been doing that, but you could do that. Sometimes I listen to music at the start of a walk to get me motivated, because sometimes I don't feel like going on a long walk, but I really want to go on a long walk. Sometimes you want to do something, but you also don't want to do something at the same time. I don't know. Like the other day when I did my long walk, I didn't really want to in the beginning. I just felt like really rubbish. I was like, no, I'm going to do this. And I ended up going on a 2-hour walk into the middle of nowhere, and it was brilliant. So yeah, I listened to some of Aurora's first album, and it really hyped me up. So that's another one. And the other one is Spotify scanners. And I want to do a whole video about this, but this is a way that you can bring something digital into your physical world. So making playlists for certain things that you want to manifest, and also making playlists for different practices that you have. Like you might make a playlist with music that you like to listen to when you do tarot cards, or when you sit at your altar, or when you do meditation. And you could print out these little Spotify scanners and put them around your altar. You could put them in your book of shadows, and stuff like that, because I love using Spotify as my main music platform, so it makes sense for me. And also I used to have loads of Spotify scanners here, but I got rid of them because I don't really listen to playlists anymore. I love listening to albums. But yes, that is definitely everything I have to say about music magic. Let's go to the second half of this podcast, where I waffle about a load of random stuff. So yes, if this episode has felt a bit like difficult to follow along with, and my thoughts haven't been very organised, it's because last night I had prom. It was my not secondary school prom, it's my sixth form prom, and it was very fun, but also not very fun at the same time. It was very odd. because they fed us late and the football was on like these 4 massive projector screens which took up most of the room, so everyone was just sitting and watching football for like the entirety of the football game. Yeah, and then food was late. Food was weird. Like, the amount of people I saw with like a random concoction on their plate because they didn't want to pick one of the main meals, because there was like this weird pie thing which had like this tiny layer of what looked like pastry and then just a heck of a lot of mincemeat. Like, it was straight up mincemeat. And I was like, that's a way to destroy the planet. I try not to eat too much beef because I don't enjoy it enough to feel like it's worth eating. Like, because I know how like environmentally damaging it can be to eat like red meat regularly. So I just eat it when I know I'm going to really enjoy it and when it's cooked really nicely. So, yes, I was like, no, it looks so unappealing. And also red meat just makes me feel really ill. I think some of it is psychological because I feel like kind of guilty for eating it, but also it gives me a really bad stomachache sometimes. So I have to be really careful. And then the second dish, they just had haddock fish cakes. And bear in mind, this is like the fanciest hotel in my area. And like, they didn't have really anything suited to 18-year-olds. It was really odd. And then the final dish was what I had, which was like this vegetable curry. It was like sweet potato and what seemed like butternut squash and spinach, which was really nice. But a lot of people weren't brave enough to try that, even though it was the best dish out of the 3. And they ran out of chips really early. And yeah, so people would just created on their plate like this random assortment of stuff, like some leaves, some couscous, some like Italian ham. I try not to eat the Italian ham because it's so processed. I was like, I'm going to feel really ill if I eat that. And like a naan bread and like some chutney or something. It was really odd. So yes, anyway, that was prom. Yeah, and the music, oh my gosh, the DJ. The songs he chose weren't really that great for the most of it. I kept putting on these really random songs that no one had heard of, and everybody kept leaving the dance floor. And then he'd put on like Wonderwall to bring us back, and I'm like, that is the bare minimum of a DJ. It's just like playing Wonderwall. There was no ABBA, no Queen. There was one Katy Perry song, which is good. You wouldn't want more than one Katy Perry song, to be honest. There was one Taylor Swift song. And one thing I will give him credit for is he played Chapel Roan. I was so excited. It was my first time hearing Chapel Roan, like, out in the big wide world. And it was incredible. Because earlier on, when we were, like, eating our food and whatever, I heard Good Luck Babe going on. And he didn't, like, play it properly. I couldn't really hear it properly. I was like, oh my god, yes. I was like, maybe there's going to be Chapel Roan at this disco, because like earlier on, like before I went to the prom, I was like, oh my god, what if they play Chapel Roan? Like, that would be incredible, because she's such a new mainstream artist. I was like, maybe not. And then it's like the proper disco, everyone's dancing, and then this song comes on. This sounds so familiar. I'm like, I know from like 2 seconds that it is Hot to Go by Chapel Roan. I'm like, oh my god, this is a perfect song for a disco, because it's got the H-O-T-T-O-G-O, and I was like, oh my god, it's going to be incredible. And then everybody knew the words, well, not everyone, but loads of people knew the words, and I was just living for it, and singing all the words, and then doing the dance. Everyone was doing the dance, and it was just amazing. It was just so cool. So I'm so excited to hear more Chapel Roan in like parties and discos and stuff. Oh my god, it was a spiritual experience, was how I described it to my friend who doesn't listen to Chapel Roan, even though she should, because Chapel Roan is incredible. If you don't listen to Chapel Roan, what are you doing with your life? Go listen, go stream The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess. And also, you cannot have escaped Good Luck Babe. Good Luck Babe is everywhere at the moment, which is just amazing. I'm still not sick of Good Luck Babe, even though I've streamed it about 30 times. Let's see how many times I've streamed it. I love doing this, it's so funny. In the last 365 days, my top songs were a load of Maisie Peters songs, a Renee Rapp song, and Red Wine Supernova by Chapel Roan I've listened to 29 times. 29 times! And then Good Luck Babe I've listened to 25 times. But my top song is You're Just a Boy and I'm Kind of the Man by Maisie Peters with 52 times listened to that one. And then my second top, wait, no, that can't be true. All time, Body Better is my top song of the last 2 years. I listened to 61 times, which is just, yeah. It was the first single from that album, The Good Witch. Anyway, now we get into my 3 favourites. And after my 3 favourites, we're then going to go to the confession. Because this week we have a confession from a subscriber that I'm going to read out. And I'm going to talk about a tiny bit. And then I'm going to do a whole podcast episode on that topic. So yes, my first favourite of the week was Matcha. I tried this on Monday. Now, by the time this podcast episode is coming out, I think that my Oxford vlog will be out. So you would have seen possibly me trying matcha, but matcha is my new favourite drink. Oh my god, it is incredible. I love it. It's just amazing. I was surprised I liked it because it is like an acquired taste. Some people don't like it, but I just was really, really happy with it. I just really love it. So that's my first favourite. If you want to see me talk about the matcha more, you can watch that episode. And then also there's going to be me talking about it more that I cut out of the main vlog, which will be on my Patreon. So my second favourite of the week is driving. I've been really loving driving lately. I haven't done that much. I did like 1 lesson this week with my dad. I've got a new driving instructor. I'm starting lessons with him next week, but I had to stop having lessons with my other teacher because I don't want to throw shade or anything, but she would have the radio on. She would be asking me questions. And because I am very much into pop music, I knew almost all of the songs on the radio. So I'm trying to drive and my brain is singing all of the words of these songs, including Good Luck Babe by Chapel Roan, also Miss Me Too by Griff, the new Gracie Abrams single, what it was at the time, Risk. And yeah, songs like that. And I'm trying to drive, I'm trying to concentrate. All I can hear is a radio playing these songs that I know very, very well. And I just couldn't concentrate and I was just not progressing enough. So yeah, I got a new driving instructor and I'm really excited for that. My test is in September, which is a little bit stressful. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to move my test. I'm going to find out because I've got an assessment lesson next week, which is like a 2-hour assessment. So he's going to see how many lessons I need before my test and maybe like if I should move my test or whatever. But yeah, my test is before I go to university, but I don't really know when I'd move it to though, because if I go to university then I'm not going to be around to do lessons. So I don't know. Anyway, yeah, loving driving. It's really hard not to stall my car because I have a Citroen C1 and it has a really tiny engine. I think it's a 1 litre. So it is really hard to drive sometimes. Like when I get to a roundabout and I have to stop, it's really hard to start again and start quickly because there's a tiny window of when you can go on a roundabout, and to get my car to go it's difficult. Also changing gears sometimes, like when you have to go from 5th to 3rd, sometimes it won't go. So yeah, lots of practice still needed, but I really love driving. I love the freedom of it and I'm so excited for when I can just go out on trips by myself and just find like random public footpaths and I could just park my car and go for walks. That will be fun. Final one of my 3 favourites this week is the film Miss Potter. I've been obsessed with this film since I was a kid. It is probably one of the most inspiring films of my childhood because it really made me feel like I could do anything creatively. It just made me feel like I wanted to try every possible creative thing there was out there. I was like, wow, like if I wanted to, I could write a book or I could do a painting. It like really made me feel like I was capable of doing these things and that I should. It was like this really weird realisation that I had as a kid and it just kind of like opened the world up to me. I just felt like because I could do these things creatively, it just felt like things were just so much more possible. I don't know. it's hard to put it into words to make it make sense. But yeah, it's a film about Beatrix Potter, who wrote those little animal books, and they're like kids' books, and it was, I think it was like last century that it's like based in, like before the war, I think. I don't know, must be, I don't know when was she born, but it is about her life from when she's about 30 for like the first couple of years of her 30s, and she's like adamant she's never going to get married, but then she meets this guy and he like publishes her books and they get really close because they work together with publishing books, and then she thinks, oh, maybe, whatever. So that's what the film is about. And it's also about, like, she goes to the Lake District every summer with her family, and that's plays a big role in inspiring her work. So yeah, if you are interested in Beatrix Potter and her stuff. Oh, she was born in 1866 and she died in 1943. So she lived till she was 77. So yeah, it's kind of like the 1800s, early 1900s that this takes place. But it is great film. I always think that the film is longer than it is, like with the pacing of it, it's really weird, but I think it's because there was lots of extra Beatrix Potter type things that I watched as a kid, so the film always feels shorter than it is, and I feel like there's more story to it because I watched other stuff and similar stuff, so it all kind of merges together in my brain. But yeah, I love that film, and I really love the Lake District. It's just such a beautiful place, so I love it for that. So yeah, that's my 3 favourites this week. Finally, we're going to be sharing Morton's confession. And if you would like to share a confession, then please leave it in the comments down below, and I will share it in one of my future episodes. So, Morton says, "Hi Ella, here is my confession. It is that when I finally learned what toxic people were, my circle of friends became much smaller, for obvious reasons, and also way healthier." So, yes, toxic friends is a very, very important topic, and I am going to be doing a whole episode on this, even though it is extremely traumatic for me, like extremely, but I really want to talk about it. But yeah, toxic friends, oh my god, it is really, really difficult because there are so many people in this world who don't understand how damaging toxic friends are. So when we see people with friends and they're probably not the best for them, we think it's okay because there's so many people with toxic friends. And I saw this last night at the prom, like there's so many people with toxic friendships, and I'm like, that's not good. But yeah, I had the same thing. I currently have one friend because I cut off all of the toxic ones. But yeah, it is really difficult to tell if how people are acting is serious enough for you to not be friends with them anymore. And yeah, it is really difficult to navigate, but I'm so glad that you managed to cut off those friends, because it's difficult realising that they're toxic, and then it's like even more difficult to kind of get rid of them. And like depending on where you are in your life as well, it can differ with how difficult it is, like especially if they are co-workers, people you have to see every day, people you go to school with. That's really, really hard. Like when I was in secondary school, I had to have toxic friends because the way that school is kind of set up, I couldn't be on my own. Like I couldn't sit on my own at lunchtime. Like there was nothing to do. But in sixth form, it was bliss. I had my laptop, I could watch a podcast episode at lunch, and I just preferred being on my own, even though I did have a couple of friends, because I just really valued that time to myself, because I had to focus so hard in lessons because my A-levels was so challenging. It was just amazing to have that time. But yeah, toxic friends are also really bad because they can, like, firstly drain your energy and also make you act in a way that doesn't feel like yourself, like not even on purpose, but you feel like sometimes you have to dilute yourself to be acceptable for others, and they kind of make you feel weird about being yourself because they just don't suit you. But yeah, I don't know, it's a bit of a minefield. toxic friends, but it is great when you are finally rid of them. But something also really important to talk about with toxic friends is also, once you get rid of these friends, be careful who you then let in. Because I have found that some people, they may seem that they are good for you and they're good friends, but then they might start to act in ways that is not good for you or them. I've had this happen many times, and it's kind of like a wolf in sheep's clothing. You kind of think that this person turns out to be not what they seem. And I've also experienced people being friends with people with mental health issues, and that's really hard to navigate as well, and can lead in toxic friendships, and there's not really a lot that I can do about it, and I cannot be friends with them for myself. Like, it's damaging for me. So yes, very difficult thing to handle, but I'm so glad that you finally cut them off. It's really, really good, and I hope that you're feeling a lot better now. So I hope that has inspired you to cut off your toxic friends, to start to manifest using music if you don't already. I'd love to hear how you use music in your magical practice, if it's something that you do, because some people don't even listen to music at all. Like, someone I used to be friends with, she didn't have a music taste whatsoever. Like, she'd never listened to music. Like, what? That's just crazy. And she's also not one of those people, because there are literally people who biologically their brains aren't wired to accept and like music. But I thought it was crazy. I was like, what music are you into? Oh, I don't listen to music. Like, you don't put any music on, like, ever? No, not really. It's like, so yeah, obviously I couldn't be friends with her. So yeah, I'd love to hear. Also, yeah, I'd love to hear what music that you listen to. And also, I am also like a music content creator. I don't know if you guys know. I make reaction videos. They might not be your sort of thing, but if you like to get to know different artists, different genres and stuff like that, I have a whole separate channel where I do that. So yes, I'll leave the link to it down below if you want to check it out. It might be extremely boring because these videos I put so much into, so they look really bad in comparison. So yeah, anyway, thank you for watching this episode. Please, if you haven't already, go over to like Apple Podcasts and to Spotify and rate this 5 stars if you really, really like the podcast. There's also different polls that you can answer on Spotify that I've set up. So yes, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next week for the next episode. The next episode, we're going to be talking about journaling. And if you made it to the end of this podcast, please leave a little cloud emoji in the comments. I would love to see that. So yes, that's everything, and I'll see you guys all next week. Goodbye.